Hello everyone and welcome back to Family Life Builders TV, where we're rebuilding homes and transforming society. My name is Tosin Opeoluwa and I am a transformational coach. I'm so grateful to God that we are able to make it again today. And today it's another beautiful time of growth and transformation. And the person I'm bringing today is an expert, is a wonderful person, is an authority in this field. So today we'll be dealing with finding true love and healing. So if you're joining us for the first time, I want to say thank you for joining us. Those who are watching on YouTube, those who are watching on Facebook, I want to say thank you. And if you're going to be watching the replay, I want to say thank you as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop your comments because it's going to be an awesome time. So today, I'm going to bring in my guests, and I'm going to tell you a bit about her. Welcome to the show, Coach Maggie. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so happy to see you. It's been an awesome time that I have spent with you. I've known you to be a wonderful person. So out of your busy schedule, you still made it to the show. I want to say a big thank you. So let me tell you a little bit about Coach Maggie. So Coach Maggie is the CEO of Owning My Destiny. She's international best-selling author of the book, Overcoming Toxic Relationship and Finding True Love. She's an inspirational speaker. She's an influential speaker. And she's a relationship expert and domestic violence advocate. She's going to be telling you a lot more about herself and our work today. So I'm going to give Coach Maggie the opportunity to tell you more about herself because I can't say it all.
Wow, thank you so much, Tosin. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I know we've known each other for so long, and this is the first time we actually are in this setup like this. It's so nice to be here. Congratulations for doing such amazing work in the community. I'm so happy for you because your platform is also changing lives. As for me, thank you for the introduction. You basically covered everything. Besides that, today I'm also celebrating Father's Day with my husband, and I am a mother. I am, like you just mentioned, a survivor of domestic violence. So that brings me in a space where I carry some experience that I don't wish on many of us. But however, because of the experience that I went through, they shaped me to become who I am right now. I'm also an author, and my book was an international bestseller, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm working on another book right now. I'll let you guys know when it comes out. In the meantime, I'm here to answer questions and enjoy the time with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Coach Maggie. I'm going to let me start from what you just said now. Mm-hmm. People believe that where I come from, they believe you don't tell your story because people use your story against you. And I said, no. The liberation I have today was from the strength and the teachings I got from Lisa Nichols and people like you. Because our strength and our healing is from our story, and it's my story. What do you think about telling our story about what we've been through?
Actually, it's a great question. And I have to tell you, I think I mentioned to you, I signed up for a television show just recently, and it's going to start next month on Exposure TV. And the name of my show is called Share Your Story. Share Your Story is a space where people come in and not just own whatever you're saying, but knowing that you're in a safe space. And the reason that I created that space is exactly what you just mentioned, Tosin. It's because for too many years, I was told that I shouldn't share my story. And I realized that I wasn't the only one. When I had this burning desire inside of me to understand what happened to me, I had to share my story. I had to tell someone so they can bring light into what I was going through. And the idea that our community, our culture, prevent us from doing that, it's a disservice. Because often people will go to the grave with their story, and it wasn't meant to be that way. Your journey is a learning lesson for you to experience and to teach someone else. Because through that lesson, we help someone to avoid going what we've been through.
Thank you, Coach Maggie. I'm going to play this video and I will allow you to tell us what you think about the video from your story.
Sure.
I know even the family will watch this. They might condemn me because they used to hate me. But right now, me, Lynn, I'm ready to share my story so that I can help someone out there. If you're married, if you are a woman and you're married, please, and your marriage is not working, you are in an abusive marriage, let me tell you, you'll not, for me to stay in my marriage has costed me. Right now, I'm trying to look for this 6 million. It has been hard. I'm so stressed. I'm tired with life. I've witnessed my children trying to commit suicide because of what they went through in our family. And I can tell you for fact, if I can be able to reverse my life back, afadhali hata ningeenda tu kuosha masufuria kwa mama nyumbani kuliko kukaa mahali penye nime-affect. Mimi personally, I can take it because I've gone through a lot, but my kids can't. I tried a lot because I was trying to mask. Actually, this story, I know even my friends will be shocked because they don't know about that. I did.
Wow.
Coach Maggie, I felt like crying when I was watching the video. Actually, that's Tuko TV on YouTube. People can go and follow them. They allow people to tell their stories, and they are very, very inspiring. I pick few things from it. Masking. I pick masking. I pick people staying because they have something they feel they want to protect. And I pick what the community will say, what the people will say. I want you to respond to that.
Actually, it pains me to hear the story. The sad thing is there are so many of us with similar story. So many women going through that. Statistics shows that when a woman is in a domestic violence relationship, sometimes it takes them to leave their partner 7 times before they finally walk away. Can you imagine the trauma that someone experienced, having to go back and forth in a relationship where you're not happy, where you are physically or mentally being abused? Her story, just a little bit that I've heard from it, touched me because not only she was concerned about herself, but she was more concerned about her kids. And that's what sometimes we use to justify staying in a toxic relationship. We want to make sure the kids are safe. And what I would like to say about it is that your kids are not safe when they watch you being abused. Your kids are not safe when they witness that you don't have a voice. Your kids are not safe when you set bad examples to them to let them know that's what relationships are supposed to be like. Your kids are not safe when you cannot stand in front of your abuser and tell him to stop. So that's what I got from it. And I hope that as your viewers watching this show today, and if they find themselves in a situation where you don't have a voice, where you cannot express your opinion and be respected, where you feel that you are in an abusive relationship, because it's not in your mind, it's real. Your abuser may make you feel like you're crazy. They might even make you feel like what you're saying has no value. No one will believe
Gaslighting.
it, you know? So it's important that you know there's a community out there to help you and you're not alone.
Thank you so much, Coach Maggie. Thank you so much. I was working on a research in 2019, and I realized that because of my experience as a child who witnessed domestic violence and also have a fair share of abuse, I I am interested, really, really interested in helping a woman out there. And anytime I have opportunity to do research, all I'm doing is to find a solution. And that's why I wrote Goodbye Domestic Violence after that research. And I found out that 53% of those women said they don't want to leave the abusive relationship because they love their partner. Can you help us define what love is?
Well, unfortunately, as a relationship coach, I realized that I had the privilege, thank God, to meet different type of people. And in the process, I realized that people define love differently. And for some, love is someone who provides for them. For some, love is someone who cares for them. For some, love is someone who actually abuses them. And the reason that I include that in there, it's because I have met women who actually admit that when their men physically abuse them based on their culture, that's the way the man shows he loves them. Whether it's physical abuse or sexual abuse. I think the shift needs to happen when we start educating children differently, because they're going to grow up to become adults and they're going to replace us. So we need them to come with a frame of mind and understanding that what is true love. It also starts at home. If these people never experience love from their family, how do you know something that you've never seen before? How can you recognize something that you don't know? So it has a lot to do with people's upbringing as to why they assume an abusive relationship has anything to do with love. And again, that's when a community who's there to educate the work that you're doing, Tosin, and the work that many people like us are doing, to educate the community, to teach them to recognize things differently, to find them resources so they don't have to be in a relationship for financial needs and call it love. Because sometimes we just don't know. And we can't blame these people for saying the wrong thing, but we can continue to educate them, bring light to them. So one day they'll be able to know the truth and realize that they have not been in a loving relationship. Instead, it has been toxic all the time.
Thank you, Coach Maggie. There's one thing that I found out as I was growing in this field. I realized that way back in Africa, we have a limited exposure to place those things. And if we can't place it, we can't name it. And because we really can't name it, we don't know what it is. So when someone, you mentioned something now, and I said that's gaslighting. They make you feel that you are crazy. They make you feel you are the one that doesn't know what you're doing. They make you feel you are the bad person. But they don't want to look inward. So how can we really say this is toxic? How can we really say this is toxic? this is not love. How can we identify it in a relationship?
You see that interview that you show with that lady sharing her story. That's how we start, by sharing the story, and realize that when you share your story and I share my story, there's a similarity in there. And that similarity is the fact that if both of us were abused in a relationship and we both have scars and we both have name it, then it is what it is. You can try to lie to yourself all you want, because I know many women, when they read my book or when they sitting down and listening, watching one of my shows, or I'm having a speaking engagement and they're there listening, and they walk away, wow, Coach Maggie, you're very strong. I don't think I could have gone through what you've been through. And then I asked them about their story. And at that time, they realized, wow, I've been in a domestic abuse relationship. I just didn't know what it was called. I thought it was okay for my husband to slap me and then apologize and say he didn't mean it, it was my fault. It's because I made him upset that he slapped me. I thought it was okay for my husband to take my medication, which I wrote in my book about one of my clients whose husband, she was a diabetic. The husband used to withhold her medication whenever he was mad at her. That was a form of punishment. You see, unless we continue the conversation, there's so many people who will never be able to see the light or to own their voice. I don't know if it's okay with you, but I would like to share something, a space we are having, actually Exposure TV is having a global award, an Exposure Global Award in Tulsa, October 1st and 2nd. And I will be presenting domestic violence, awareness to domestic violence, basically, and honoring organizations and people who are from survivors to thrivers, and organizations who are doing great work to bring light into this darkness, to bring a space where women can have shelter, so they don't have to stay with their abuser. So I'm inviting you all to please join us, in Tulsa, October 1st and 2nd, so we can start working together. The thing is that domestic violence, the shame that has been labeled on it, make each one of us who are survivors feel embarrassed to own our scars. People don't want to talk about it because they think it makes them look bad, or make people think of them that they're less than. Well, we're not less than. It takes strength to own something. And it takes God's guidance to help us to be where we are. So actually not talking about it is a sign that you're too afraid or too embarrassed to own what happened to you. And perhaps you're trying to protect the abuser who has no problem hurting you. But all these things are learned behavior. We do these things because we're a product of our environment.
Thank you, Coach Maggie. If I ask you to share your story, we are not going to leave this place. But I want people to go and read your book. So first, I want you to tell them how to get your book. You are going to tell them after our questions. But in the book, you shared lots of your story, and I was inspired. I learned a lot. Now, you found love again, and you found healing. Now, healing is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
However, how do we, because an healing needs to come first before finding or going into another relationship to find the true love. Now, tell us, how do we find that healing before we find the true love? Because I see people get married in spring and they divorce in fall. And the following year, they are there again because they are still hurting. And they are bringing the same thing into the next relationship. Tell us, how did you find your healing? How can people find their healing before they move into a new relationship?
So that's a great question. Because one of the challenges that I've encountered as a coach is that I'll meet people who come to me because they're having problems in their relationship. And then by the time, we start working together, they start planning the next date with somebody else because they don't want to be alone. And it's amazing for me to see how we are afraid to be with ourselves, but people often don't realize, why it's important to take a little bit of time and get to know you. I'm going to share this with you, which is an analogy I've used all the time. What I tell people is, well, first of all, before I say that, let me just go back and tell you, to work on yourself, I have to explain that. Because our community, we are afraid to seek for help because we assume that it's a weakness if you ask for help. It's a strength to ask for help, to acknowledge that you need someone to guide you into something. It was hard for me to get help because of those beliefs. But I realized that I wasn't doing anyone any disservice except myself by holding my story and not wanting to share it and not going and seek for help. And that's why it's good to have a coach, because a coach holds you accountable. A coach is there to guide you. So yes, we need to seek help. It doesn't matter how strong you believe you are, how smart you think you are ready for this thing you think you are. You cannot do it on your own. That is why God will put great people in your life to help you through the journey. It's just amazing how we go from one relationship to the next. And like I was about to say earlier, I use this analogy often. It's because when people say they're looking for relationships, okay, whatever relationship it is they're looking for, they usually meet someone or go on a date, and after a couple of dates, a relationship starts. This is how we start relationships most of the time. Now, let me tell you, if you were going to buy a car that you like, okay, you would probably do some research on that car, right?
True.
You would go to some dealerships, find out what type of car they have. And if you had something in mind that you already wanted, as you start researching for that car, looking online, check consumer report reviews, asking friends, you're going to start seeing that car almost everywhere you go.
True.
That's the way Mother Nature works, because you're asking for it and it's popping up in your environment. So now you are looking for a car that's going to take you from point A to point B. That's all the car's going to do for you. It's going to take you from point A to point B. And you have spent so much time talking to friends, talking to family, Google, research, and even try and find out how much money it's going to cost you to make the investment. Now, time, which is the most precious thing we have. You've invested all that in seeking, searching to find a car that's going to take you from point A to point B. But if you're looking for a companion with intention to spend the rest of your life with that person, and you think just because a friend introduced you, or you met in a bar, or you met online, and you talk on the phone and it sounds sweet, that you know this person, and it's okay to offer your body, the most precious thing you have, to this stranger who does not value it? I don't understand. I also have to say, sometimes we have to go through things over and over again to get it. I didn't know this when I was 20, you know? But when you go through life, and life allows you to go through challenges, the biggest reward of your challenges is for you to learn your lessons. And if you can do that and transform your life to the person God intended you to be, then you start seeing things differently. And through that journey, you'll be blessed to share your experience with somebody else who needs to hear your story.
Thank you so much, Coach Maggie. So what we are saying is this healing is a process, is a journey, but you must come to terms with yourself. And I see this happen in this, especially to women.
Mm-hmm.
You have more to give than your body. You just need to grow that part of you that you can give to your world more than your body. And immediately you find that thing, your healing begins.
Mm-hmm.
Once you find that thing that makes you peculiar, and that's why we can't talk about transformation without talking about purpose. So not until every woman out there, not until we get to the space of finding our purpose, the reason for our existence, we won't stop giving our body, because your body is not the only thing you have.
Mm-hmm.
I picked that from what you said now. So when you come out of an abusive relationship, or you have not even been into any relationship, you're finding true love, you want to find yourself first.
Oh yeah.
Because people ask why I'm not bored. I say I'm not bored. I'm a content creator. I'm constantly doing something. I'm constantly doing so. So a woman must get to that space of finding herself first. And that's the space of transformation. And I'm going to remind you what Coach Maggie said, that it's essential that you find a coach to journey with you, because it's a process. So once you're able to find yourself, you find a coach that fits into the person you are becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's easier for you to find the true love that you want, because at that time you know how to love yourself already. So you're looking for someone that will love you how you really know yourself at that point. You mentioned something, Coach Maggie. You said it's time to stop dating and start fishing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, Tosin, you really remembered everything. Yes. Well, the difference is, it's so funny. I actually thought I came up with the analogy myself, and then I realized that, wow, there are people talking about fishing, on Google. Then I didn't look for it at that time, because it was so powerful in my mind. And I'm like, I came up with this one, and I realized, no, you didn't. It's there. You just now find out about it in your own mind. Yeah, the idea of dating and fishing, it's so, I think it's so beautiful because we have to differentiate what is dating and what is fishing. Okay. The funny thing is that when I meet a man, if I have a male client, and then this conversation often come up because men have been fishing forever. And but now when a woman starts fishing, there's something wrong with it because it's a men's game.
True.
So the idea of fishing is basically getting as many as you want in the same basket and toss away whatever you don't need.
Hmm.
That's what fishing
is. Say that again.
really. It's just, because I mean, all you have to do is to say, okay, well, I'm going to put myself out there and just go fishing. And it's the easiest thing to do. The problem is often women, or men perhaps, don't understand the concept that you are getting to know someone. And instead of using that time to build a friendship, they turn it into romance. It's no longer fishing. If you're going to have a romantic relationship with everybody you meet and then those relationships just last for a short period of time, no. I mean, if you're going fishing, it's exactly what it says. You go in and you put your net out there and then you meet a lot of people and then who's compatible to you? Compatibility matters.
Hmm.
It's a simple concept. I noticed that it's hard to apply, but it's a simple concept. And one of the reasons that in my coaching, I realized that it's hard to apply, it's because we are in the system, we are accustomed to do things quickly. I want this today, I want this right now, I need to get this right now. And the idea that taking time, first of all, like you mentioned earlier, it starts with you. Getting to know who you are. It's the most powerful and the most beautiful thing. And what it does for you, it gives you a center of where you stand on your own. It's okay, to have pillars around you, but you're strong on your own. You cannot experience that unless you truly love yourself. That is why I'm an advocate for self-love. Because to me, and I'm going to share this with you, if I didn't take time to get to know me, there's no way I would have been able to find true love. It's just not possible if you don't know who you are. And you can ask anyone who's been in a relationship, they'll tell you. They're basically with their partner and that partner knows them and they know that partner. But for someone to know you, you got to tell them who you are. You got to show them who you are. And it's just, it's not that difficult. I think sometimes we make things a little bit more complicated than what it is. It's just knowing where to start and where it ends.
Boundaries. Now, Coach Maggie, thank you so much. I enjoy this conversation. Now, I'm going to ask this one last question before I ask you to introduce yourself to people. In the healing journey, because I'm a fan of emotional healing, because I don't know where I got it from. I just know that if people can be emotionally healthy, the problem in the world will be solved. Because everything that we see happening today, every pain, every challenges that we go through, they happen to our body, but the impact is in the soul. And the soul is the seat of emotion. So when that space is damaged, then we'll be exhibiting negative attitude. And that's why we see those people, doing a lot of things that we can't even imagine in the society today. It's because something is missing and needs to be fixed. However, in this journey, I found out that one of the prerequisites for healing is forgiveness. Coach Maggie, how did you do it? They hurt you that bad. How did you do it? Maybe you share one of the pain, then you share how you walk through the process of forgiveness. Because the truth is, I think that God has a way of doing it that when we let go, He has a way of replacing them with good people in our lives. But inability to let go and heal is what made people repeat those patterns.
Yeah.
Tell us, what's the process like when it comes to forgiveness?
Well, I'm gonna just tell you something which gonna make it very easy for everybody to understand. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Number one, forgiveness is for you. And the reason it's for you, it's because when someone does something that bothers you and then it's hurting you, now you're holding a grudge. Imagine the grudge like a bowl of fire in your hands. And you're telling yourself, you have hurt me so much that I'm going to throw that ball of fire on you. Who's holding the fire? Who's burning? So forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. So you don't forgive so somebody can be okay. You forgive so you can heal. You forgive so you can heal yourself. And in that forgiveness, you realize that as painful as what happened to you was, it wasn't worth it for you to hold a grudge. But forgiveness does not mean that you forgot what happened to you. Because you have to remember what happened in order for you to make sure it never happens again. The forgiveness is a process of for you also accepting your contribution in what happened. Remember, it was a process. Yes, someone did something to you, but you played a role in it. And that's the problem. Sometimes people don't want to admit, well, it was you who did this. You did this to me, you did that to me. I mean, it took two people to create this problem. What is your role? What role did you play in that situation? Because you can't say you're going to forgive someone for doing something to you and not forgive yourself for doing it, for contributing into it. So forgiveness starts first for you, then acknowledging someone did something wrong and you're going to make sure it never happens again. So you're going to forgive them for whatever they did. But you first forgive yourself. Because I often find myself in my bathroom having a conversation with myself, and because something happened, either something that I felt that I did wrong, and in the process of bidding on myself, which we all do, I also acknowledge, okay, well, how do I release this? Because I don't want to carry this outside of my bathroom. And then I process the forgiveness right there. I acknowledge what happened. Basically, replay the incident and understand, okay, this is what it is. At that moment, one word a phrase that I tell myself that's been helping me, and I know you guys, it can help you too, is to remember that we all do the best we can at all times. We all do the best we can at all times. Regardless of traumatic it is, or painful it is. So with that understanding, you can release, because we all do the best we can at all times. You release yourself and you release the other person, and you get into acceptance because it already happened. So it needs to be accepted. And once you get into acceptance, yes, you can share some emotional tears or whatever how you express your emotion. But with acceptance, each time the memories come back in your mind, you would replay the same thing that you told yourself. You would replay the same thing until eventually it disappears and it no longer bothers you. It's a process, but it works.
It works. It's a process. It works. Thank you so much, Coach Maggie. It's a process and it works. And you mentioned something that is very crucial. It's essential that we don't regret something, because everyone do their best. And you deal according to the information that's available to you in making decisions. So if you know better, you will do better. So it's essential that we don't stay in the space of regret, and that will hasten the healing journey. Thank you so much, Coach Maggie. I want to say a big thank you. You've taught us how to find love by first loving ourselves, by first finding ourselves. You've taught us how to heal by telling our story, because it's essential to tell our story. It's our story.
Yes.
And when we tell the story, we can name it.
Yes.
Then we can fix it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I want you to tell people how they can meet you, how they can see you. You run a show on Facebook. You're all over. Tell them about your book. Tell them about how they can find you.
Yes. First of all, my book is called Overcoming Toxic Relationships and Finding True Love, Owning Your Destiny. And it's my story, my journey about the life experience that I went through and how I was able to get out of it, and how I found me and how I found true love. So I hope that you guys you can download it on Amazon, or you can reach out to me on my website, which is www.owningmydestiny.com, and you can order it there. Also, like Tosin mentioned, I do have a Facebook Live that I do every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is where I have the most fun throughout the week, because it's so educational and it's so much fun. We laugh throughout the whole time that we're there. And if you have never experienced the show with us, I'm inviting all of you to join us Thursday night, or you can also watch it on my Relationship Guru official page on Facebook, which I got an advice from someone, and I'm going to also post it on WhatsApp so all of you can watch it. It is just an amazing gift from God to me. I feel that having that space where I bring different experts to talk about everyday life, and we make it fun while we're doing it. So there's something for everyone. There's no one that walking there without saying, wow, I learned something new, because it's always a lot of entertaining, educational, transformational at the same time, while we're laughing and the time just passed by. So yeah, I enjoy doing that. My big project that I'm working on is the television show that I mentioned earlier with Exposure TV, and I would like for you guys, if you have Roku or Fire Stick, Apple or Android, just download Exposure TV and you will be able to have access to it. My show is going to start next month. But in the meantime, I have plenty of colleagues who have their own show there. So please go and support us. If you want to put your business to the show, please go ahead and call us and we can do that for you as well. It's an amazing space. I love what Tim Lawrence is doing with the show. She also has Exposure magazine, which is an amazing magazine, and you guys should definitely subscribe if you have not yet. Yeah, these are things that I'm doing, and I'm here with you guys, sharing the time with you, and also coaching. I love to coach, and I'm also working on my second book. I'll let you guys know when it's coming out. So yes, with God's grace, I'm busy and I'm enjoying the journey.
Thank you so much, Coach Maggie. So go follow Coach Maggie, find Exposure Magazine. And I just want to say a big thank you to all our viewers, all the families. I want to say a big thank you to my husband for joining as well today. Thank you so much. I have to tell him that when he's online, he should post so that I can see him. And you want me to give you a shout out to everyone now. You need to post so that we can see that you are there. And that you did not post doesn't mean you are there. That's why I always want to say thank you to everybody. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody for joining, and those who will be watching later. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video so that you can, bless somebody, and you are also blessing us. So till we come your way again, keep becoming a better you, because things work when we work it. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Coach Maggie. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Joy will always come.